Now, the news. Kimber has a new version of their 2K11 or 2011 pistol. It's called the 2K11 Pro, and there are 5 different flavors. Essentially, these are the same as the first release, just with a shorter barrel. All the earlier ones had 5-inch barrels, and all of these have 4¼ inch barrels. They are all optic cut. They all have decent sights on them and have some version of a magwell built into the grip or added to the grip. First is the Eclipse. This has a sort of silver and black color theme with a medium-sized magwell, I guess. It has an MSRP of $23.45. Then you have the Royal with a, battle-worn Gothic-looking theme, and the same medium magwell for $24.99, $2,500. We also have the stainless with a DLC finish on the barrel with a small magwell for $22.45. The Minotaur for $25.75 with that same small magwell and a sort of bronze color theme. Then there's the Big Boy Coyote version at $26.99 MSRP with a big old magwell and a sort of coppery accent on the black base color. Also, the Coyote and Royal versions can be had in 45 ACP versus 9mm for an additional $100. My personal favorite is probably going to be the stainless or the Royal versions. I just like the way those look, but I actually have the Eclipse version on hand for a review coming soon. And Kimber claims that these are more EDC type guns. That's a bit of a stretch in my mind. I don't know many folks that are going to carry a fancy 2011 in their waistband these days, but whatever, that's not the point here. I'd love to know what you guys think. Would you actually carry one of these? Are they interesting to you with the shorter barrels? Does that make it a more viable thing for you to buy? Sound off in the comments and let us know. Welcome back to another episode of the Gun Collective News, TGC News. Here we are. I'm John Patton. Last week, I crapped on this thing called the shooter's tent. And a bunch of you guys had stuff to say about it in the comments. You guys let me have it. I compared it to a brass catcher, and you guys said, well, John, what about handguns? What about how gun-mounted brass catchers can cause malfunctions? Well, you're right, and those are great points. I totally didn't even think of that when I was doing the story. I still hate the thing. No, just not for me, but you guys were right. And that's one of the many reasons I appreciate you guys. You're always sharing your opinions, whether or not we agree on a certain topic. And that's awesome. Moving on, SK has another new custom offering as part of their Kingdom of Aztlan series. This first one is Huitzilopochtli, I believe, the god of war, sun, and migration, at least according to SK themselves. This one is based on a 38 Super 1911 from Colt and has a really nice blued finish contrasted by the 24 karat gold inlays, whatever you want to call them. Then you have the beechwood grips and what appears to be like an eagle of some sort gripping onto a snake. I don't know the mythology, so if you do, please let us all know what that's all about. I don't know what none of that means. I don't understand any of it. MSRP on this is $26.50 and only 500 will be produced ever. Extra grips can be purchased for $120. I don't know if you have to prove that you have one to get those. I don't know. Next up this week, Century Arms has a new version of their AP5, aka the MP5 clone. This one is their AP5 SD. Now this is different than the normal MP5 SD because it has a fake suppressor. Yes, I know, womp womp, that sucks. However, the good thing is that the can is removable and that this is a pistol version of the gun with a Magpul brace out back, which means the barrel and can don't have to be permanently attached. It's a pistol. On the rifle versions, you would probably see that permanently attached. Other than that, you have a classic HK style selector switch, the MP5 SD handguard with that sort of ribbed for her pleasure sort of thing going on, and the Navy style grip assembly. Otherwise, it's exactly what you'd expect. MSRP here is $1,800. No idea if these are any good. I've never shot one. Next up, Bushmaster has 2 new versions of their Bravo Zulu pistols. They are AR pistols. They are basically the same thing, except one comes in 5.56 and one in Blackout. The Blackout has a pistol-length gas system. They both have 11.5-inch barrels with a 10-inch M-LOK handguard, a 2-stage trigger, and the SB A5 brace out back. Otherwise, it's pretty basic. And the MSRP is $938 on the 5.56, and the MSRP on the Blackout is $1071. Not sure why the Blackout is more expensive. Whatever. It's interesting to see Bushmaster trying to make a return to their former glory days. They used to be a big name. I'm not sure how many of their current offerings have that wow factor, but nothing seems too outlandish, so maybe it's a good thing. And Ruger is back in the news with a gun that I am very personally excited about. I'm not sure everyone will get as excited as I am. I don't really care. It's the return of the 7744. This is a bolt-action 44 Magnum. They have 3 color patterns available. First is one with a stainless barreled action in baby diaper explosion camo. Then there's the desert black hole camo with a blued barreled action. And then the walnut, aka nut camo, with that same blued action. They all come with threaded muzzles, which is very, very welcome. That is a change from before. On the old runs of this gun, you couldn't get that. For me, this is huge appeal. Like, I love this thing. I want to hunt with a 44 mag and or / whatever, shoot subsonic 44 special for a big, quiet, big bore gun. Like, that sounds great. MSRP on the walnut's $1240, the dark one is $1250, and the diaper explosion is $1280. I think I would like to have one with the nut camo to match my old 44 carbine, which looks like a 1022 but shoots 44 mag. Huh? That's pretty cool, right? I would love to hear how many of you guys would want to buy one of these at that price. They are not cheap, but they are pretty cool in my mind. Sound off with your thoughts in the comments. And while you're typing that out, let's hear from this week's sponsor, XS Sights. I've been wanting to work with a company like XS for a long time. They offer sighting solutions for all kinds of brands out there, and a bunch of them are meant to be fast while keeping you accurate. For example, I got these 3-dot sights on the Desert Eagle, the Co-Witness style on the Masada Slim, and another more different set on this VP9 build. And since you watch TGC, they set you guys up with a big discount. If you use our code TGC at xssights.com, you'll save 20%. That's massive. Big thanks to XS Sights for sponsoring this week's video. Let's keep it rolling with this week's friendly fire question. If you want to ask me a question, slam it down in the comments with the words friendly fire so that I can go back and find it. That is very helpful. Literally the only way I'm ever going to find it. We've got a few again this week, which I like being able to answer a few of them all at once. First is from Commander Hawk, and he says, with the issues going on with T-Rex arms, would TGC consider making and selling your own products to fill the perceived gap? Honestly, I don't think we're the right channel for that. I'm not into the training publicly sort of thing. I'm not an expert in that. I don't do holsters, whatever else they sell. I don't even know what they sell. Maybe in the future that could happen, but my current focus is making good videos and making sure that GunCon goes off without BS this year. I'm going to be focusing on family time and traveling once my van is finished, so that's basically going to take up my entire bandwidth mentally. Craig B says, why do gun companies debut guns without having them available right away? Oh, that's a really easy answer, because they are run by morons. This overpromise and underdeliver strategy just plagues the gun industry. If you out there watching this right now, if you work for a brand that does this, I highly recommend working to change it. It's more surprising to me these days when brands actually have products ready at launch than when they don't. And Rhino X says, why isn't 300 Hammer more popular? I think there are a couple reasons for that. It's not that much different than Supersonic 300 Blackout, and not enough companies see the value in supporting a cartridge that isn't all that different and also doesn't have that subsonic offering. Wilson Combat really didn't do a good enough job promoting the benefits of that cartridge, and I believe that it's very unlikely for that round to take off in popularity at this point in the game. I know this comment is likely because Bryce at Banana Ballistics did a video on it not that long ago, and that was a great video, and if you aren't familiar with the channel, go watch it, but that's kind of my thoughts on 300 Hammer. It's a cool cartridge. I have one right back there. It's cool. I like it. I just don't think it's going to be that popular. My friendly fire question to you guys this week. Right now, in the back half of 2025, which gun channels do you trust the most for product reviews? You know the drill. Answers below. I think the tides of trust have shifted over the last year, and I'd love to know who is on top these days. We've got some other new stuff for you this week in the form of ammo. Federal has a new 16-gauge version of the Black Cloud waterfowl ammo, which is neat. My dad actually used to hunt with a 16-gauge. It was an Ithaca. So it's cool to see some new ammo available in that cartridge. It's not super popular these days. And the Black Cloud Flight Stopper steel pellets are pretty effective. I've seen that firsthand. MSRP is $41 for a box of 25 shells. In other ammo news, Fiocchi, which is under the same parent company as Federal nowadays, kind of weird. It's their new Arkansas steel waterfowl load. There's no details on what the pellets look like, so I just assume they're round pellets. These are 3-inch 12-gauge shells and can be had in 2, 3, or 4 size shot, all going 1,550 feet per second. No idea on pricing because why list that somewhere, right? That would be helpful and great. Good. Anyway, moving on. Barnes has a new line of ammo called Reserve. This seems to be a sort of custom factory load sort of thing where they're doing small batch loaded ammo by the experts at Barnes. They have less common cartridges like 6.8 Western, 300 Super Wisdom, I don't know what that is, 7 SAUM, 257 Weatherby Mag, 300 SAUM, and 6.5 284 Norma. MSRPs range from 100 to 120 for 20 rounds. Yes, that is very expensive. And in accessory news, a company called Top Gun Mounts has come out with a line of 360 camera mounts for your guns. It's called the Ghost Mount, and they have 4 different flavors currently. One is a base plate for the P320. Everybody's getting rid of those, so I'm not sure how popular that'll be. One is for a Glock 9mm mag, and then you have one that fits on the buffer tube, and another for M-Block handguards. Prices are $40 MSRP, and the guy behind the company, Matt, is actually a longtime supporter of TGC. So when he showed me this, like, hey, dude, check this out. I was like, yeah, we got to put that on the news and share it with you guys. He's one of you, and now we're all working together to support each other. That's awesome. Being able to add another angle to a video, for me, is very interesting, and 360 cameras are really cool, and I know a lot of you guys like posting your training or whatever, so check them out. And Radiant is in the news this week with a can that is unlike any that I've seen before. This uses the same unique taper screw mount as their Ramjet Afterburner comp combo, and instead of mounting the comp, you're going to mount the suppressor in that way. No threaded barrel needed, but you do need to have their branded barrel to make this work. They're doing this in collaboration with a company called Blackbird R&D that I'm not familiar with, but it looks rad. Offset cans where the volume is below the bore is pretty cool. I love that. This thing could be the bee's knees, but I do have a big question. If it doesn't have a Nielsen device and it doesn't look like there is one, how the heck is this going to work on a tilting barrel design without a Nielsen device? On their social media teaser, it says no dates yet, but it'll be worth the wait. And the real question is this going to hold up to the hype? Will it ever come out? I love their comp, but will the can do the same sort of smile making? I don't know. And I've got a deal of the week for you guys. If you go to vertx.com and use code TGC, you'll save 25%. This is a very limited thing. They bumped up my code for you guys. As far as I could see, almost everything on the website is on sale, including the new Ready Pack X, the Urban Ghost line. You save something like $40-50 on some items. The code is TGC. The website is vertx.com. Go check it out. Save yourself some cash. Also, go follow me on X. We give stuff away over there all the time. And as always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.